Ford South Africa are determined to shake up the double cab bucky market with the Ranger. But the question is, are they going to shake the earth with the Tremor? Savvy investing is best left to the experts. And when it comes to offshore investing, it's even more important to talk to an expert. Well, Earl Don from Forexpert is the guy you should be talking to for your offshore investments. Hi, I'm Alan R. from MotorMatters, CHANGECARS and all things motoring. The Ford Ranger becoming such a familiar sight on our roads, and what a familiar sight on the MotorMatters driveway lately. This is the Tremor. Now what Ford have done is they've decided to give you as much choice as they possibly can in their Ranger range, especially the double cabs. And what they're doing is saying to buyers, are you going to go off-road? Are you going to stay on-road? Do you want a combination? Do you want a family vehicle? Do you want a hard-working vehicle? Do you want the workhorse vehicle? They're giving it all to you. So here comes the Tremor, which is an off-road oriented version, but the slightly lower spec, if I can call it that. Very confusing, and it fits almost slap bang in the middle between the Wildtrak and the Wildtrak X. So it's quite interesting and a little bit confusing to me. But what it does have is, look at these 17-inch wheels with standard general grabber tires on them and black alloys. Now these are very off-road, you can see chunky tread off-road tires, but I've got to tell you they're exceptionally good on-road as well. And it's a good choice somehow because they really make it work on-road as well. I didn't even go off-road on this test, but I did do an extended on-road drive. The other thing on the Tremor is it's got uprated suspension. Now I can't give you exact details on everything on the suspension here, but it is the highest spec off-road suspension version that you've got over there, so keep that in mind as well. Now something that I do find interesting with this version as well is the fact that, according to what I read, it's supposed to have keyless entry. It has got push button start, but I could not make it open any other way than pressing on the key itself. So let me just do that for you quickly and show you, because what I want to show you is it's got a very substantial side step over there. You can see solid metal, substantial. It gives you everything you want, and it does everything you want. We'll look at the interior just now as well, but again, I looked at it carefully. I thought it's leather. It's actually specified as vinyl. Hard wearing, off-road. You'll notice there are no carpets on the floor, just rubber matting. My off-road Energade, keep you awake. So it's just rubber matting. In other words, it gives you the opportunity to literally hose out the interior after you've done some tough off-roading. So this is where they've come with this particular version and this model. You've got a sport bar, but not a massive one, on the back over here, on the back itself. And coming round to the back, what is a good feature is Ford's counterbalanced tailgate. No tonneau cover, no roll deck cover for the back as standard on this one. You can see it just comes with your cladding on the back, the rubberized cladding, which is useful from the point of view that you don't scratch the buck when you load things. And round over here, you've got a 12-volt socket in the rear as well. Good feature to have. So it's got all of those sort of features over there. Tonneaus and roll tops are interesting because whether you want them or not, the question becomes they do impede your loading. So you've got to decide on things like that. Tremor is powered by the 2-liter bi-turbo diesel, 154 kilowatts, 500 Newton meters, and it's got that exceptionally smooth 10-speed automatic gearbox that drives your choice of wheels. Let's check it on the road, let's check it inside. Out on the open road with the Ranger Tremor, and it really is a fantastic companion for a cruise, for a holiday trip or anything like that. Big, spacious, comfortable, luxurious, the 2-litre bi-turbo, 154 kilowatts and 500 newton meters of torque. And of course, Tremor means it's got off-road ability as well. It's got the 4-wheel drive low auto, it's got 4-wheel low, it's got great clearance on the wheel arches over there. You can see the black mag wheels and the grabbers, the general grabbers that it's got for off-road ability, but it also is comfortable on road, and that's a nice combination that they've got right. For not everybody does that, get that right every single time, but Ford have certainly got it right with this one. I'm showing about 8.5 litres per 100 cruising at the national speed limit, and I think that's pretty reasonable, pretty fair, and I'm very happy with a number like that as well. So you take that into account too, and I think you can see what I mean, that it's a great companion for a holiday trip.
Hello, my name is Michael. I'm the owner of CHANGECARS and the host of the TV show All Things Motoring. I have one mission, and that is to make a difference to the motoring public. Making a difference how? Making sure that you have safe options, making sure that you have knowledge. In that regard, it is my absolute pleasure and privilege to work with Alan Rosenmeyer of MotorMatters. The man with a hat, I'm the man with no hat, he's the man with the knowledge. Thank you for watching.
Well, cruising along on the open road, heading back home again in the Ranger Tremor, and it's just such a pleasure to cruise in this vehicle. Have a look here. I've got the cruise control set at 108 kilometers an hour because it was 100 zone just now, and I've done 382 kilometers on this road trip, all open road cruising at 8.6 liters per 100. But you know, it's not about that only. It's about the smoothness, the comfort, the sheer comfort of the Ranger suspension. The Tremor, yes, has on-road ability far more than some of the others, not off-road ability far more than some of the others, but I'm also very, very impressed by the on-road comfort, even of this model, which does allow, it's even got the 4 auto setting, which only some of the top models in the Ranger range have. So this one does include that. You can see Android Auto on the massive tablet screen. It's got everything, it really has, and it just is such a pleasure, whether it's on your own in the car, whether you want to take a family of 4 or 5. Of course, you've got the big bucket at the back for all your luggage if you want, but just whatever you want. The privilege of traveling through the countryside in South Africa is such a privilege, is so brilliant, and an opportunity like this, mixed of course with my trip to see what the team do at Van Noonan's Pass with the emergency response vehicles, has just made this an absolute treat of a trip. Jumping in behind the wheel, you know the dashboard, you know the instrumentation on the Rangers, won't spend much time. What I will show you is 840 kilometers covered on the test, averaging 9.4 liters per 100, but my open road cruise was 634 of it at 8.8. We got it down to 8.3 for the down trip. So interesting there, the return trip was a bit higher. So a little bit higher than I'd like to see. But you know, you've got to just live with it and accept it. And I must tell you, I made extensive use of the cruise control system on the car as well during the trip. So just keep that in mind. Tremor does not give you paddles on the steering wheel, just the things that you need to take note of while you're looking at everything on the vehicle. Of course, what the Tremor does have is Ford's massive tablet screen that is now standard again in all of the Rangers. It really is big. It gives you everything. You know what I'm talking about. I don't know if I have to spend too much time on it. There's all the different controls you get. There's the cameras you get, the overhead, reverse, forward, all of those things. You get a forward and a reverse camera. So I think you know what I'm talking about. They're really useful. They're really good. Love the fact that your aircon controls are down here. Dual zone climate, which is nice for front and passenger. Good features over there, but you've got your buttons and knobs over there. Come down. You've got your inductive charging pad. Again, useful and neat. And I've got to tell you, on this vehicle, the Android Auto works exceptionally well, whether using a cable or wireless. Both are very, very useful and functional. I've mentioned the 10-speed automatic gearbox, smooth. You never know what gear you're in. You never feel a gear shift, anything of the sort. It's a tremendous gearbox. And over here, now again, what Tremor gives you is 2 high, 4 low, and 4 auto. That's right. So you can choose what you want to use on it, and definitely makes a difference. You know, again, I don't have to tell you all these things. You've seen them before. And of course, over here, you've got your terrain buttons over there. So whether it's sand, mud, rock, etc., just push the button and there it goes, and it should change which one you're using along the way. So it's nice and easy, nice and simple, and it just does the job. Electronic parking brake if you want. Something else Tremor does not give you that a lot of the other options give you is electric adjustment on seats. Now, is that important to you? You know, when you buy your car, you do your own thing, you set your seat, and unless you've got multiple drivers, it's no big deal. But again, these are things you've got to think about for yourself. Ford do give you the standard little buttons over here, switches for any accessories you decide you want to fit, that they're already there, the wiring's there, you don't have to mess around and risk warranties, etc., etc. And I mentioned vinyl seats that even say Tremor on the seats, just in case you want to see it and want to know about it. So I think you've seen everything you need to see on this vehicle. But of course the question is price, isn't it? Well, Tremor comes in at 974,000 Rand. Mentioned to you, you can get a Wildtrak X for about 1,040,000, and you get a Wildtrak 4x4, because you do get a 4x2 version of the Wildtrak, but the Wildtrak 4x4, all powered by the same engine, etc., etc. We know that comes in at about 958. So it is slap bang, as I said, in the middle. But what they've done with this one is they've said, you want one, you're going to work that a little bit harder. It's got the uprated suspension. It's got the interior, as I said just now, that has rubber mats, vinyl seats, etc. So you can hose it out if you really want. So this is the one they envisage you would use for a bit more off-roading and a bit slightly harder work. Let's put it that way. What Ford have done is said, choice. Keep choosing, we will give you a version that suits your requirements. And they're certainly making sure they come up with one for everybody. We know the competition, don't we? Not going to mention it at all at any point, because I don't think that's what it's about. I still think the overall ride quality, even unladen on the Ranger, is at the top of the class in the current generations of all the double cabs that are available. Go and drive one for yourself. Then you can decide what your requirements are, what your needs are, what your usage, and then you can see which one is for you. For MotorMatters, Change Cars, and all things motoring, I'm Eleanor, and I'll see you next time.